Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider a subscriber to the channel as always. So I'm going to give you some additional information about Bruno Fernandes, as I have been updating you on a regular basis. So this is very good news. Reportedly Manchester United are very close to signing Bruno Fernandes, and it does reportedly say Manchester United and Sporting Lisbon have reached an agreement, and this is coming from someone called Pietro Balazzano Prota. He's an Italian director outlet at Radio Rossoneri, and he's basically saying that Manchester United are very close to signing Bruno Fernandes. But according to Ebola, the Portuguese press, Manchester United are willing to pay from 62 million to 71 million pounds for his services. So this is very good news indeed. Even though recent reports have come out saying that Ed Woodward is very hesitant of Manchester United's transfer move for Bruno Fernandes, and I think Ed Woodward has got reservations, about us spending, big on players who he doesn't think, of course, are going to step up to the plate. But I think Bruno Fernandes, will definitely, step up to the plate. I know he hasn't really played to the highest level yet as Bruno Fernandes, but he's been good in his couple of seasons with Sporting Lisbon, and he's exceeded expectation levels. And I do believe he can replicate this form in the Premier League at Manchester United. And I do believe he's got all the attributes to succeed in the Premier League, and he will fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy perfectly. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recommend young players to Manchester United this summer. He is primarily an attacking midfielder, of course, so if Paul Pogba was to leave, Bruno Fernandes would be the adequate replacement for him. But Bruno Fernandes, can score goals, he can provide and all that, and we need goals from that midfield. And like I said, if Paul Pogba does leave Manchester United, we do need 3 new additions in that midfield. So Bruno Fernandes now to Manchester United is looking very imminent indeed. He did literally say last week that we had scheduled a meeting with Sporting Lisbon, for this week, to get the deal fully finalised. So very good news indeed about this. Obviously, a lot of reports were coming out from the Portuguese press last week saying that obviously, Tottenham had entered the race for Bruno Fernandes. It also said Liverpool had entered the race for Bruno Fernandes, of course. I think basically, Tottenham had entered the race for Bruno Fernandes because obviously, they were seeing him as an alternative, to Giovanni Lo Celso. Obviously, Tottenham have got a number of midfielders on their agenda because obviously Christian Eriksen is linked to a move away to Real Madrid, and obviously if Christian Eriksen goes to Real Madrid, obviously, Tottenham are going to want a replacement for him. So obviously they've seen Bruno Fernandes as a replacement for Eriksen. They're also seeing Bruno Fernandes as an alternative to Giovanni Lo Celso, because I think Giovanni Lo Celso has been Tottenham's priority target. I think from Giovanni Lo Celso's perspective, he actually wants to make the move to Tottenham. But reports were emerging out last month saying that Tottenham, did put a bid in of around £53 million to him, plus add-ons included. But reportedly, Real Betis turned this current bid down. But Giovanni Lo Celso is 23 years of age. I think Manchester United have expressed an interest in him, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him because he's only 23 years of age. I think his initial release clause is around, £88 million. Whether Real Betis are willing to sell him or not, I do not know. I know it did say Tottenham were in talks with Real Betis, to conclude a deal. But obviously Tottenham want to do transfer activity this summer because, they haven't done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows. Obviously the last player they signed was Lucas Moura back in 2018, of course. So obviously, Pochettino wants her back in this summer transfer window. So yeah, it's looking like that Bruno Fernandes is going to be coming in. Like I said, if he was to go to Liverpool, which I don't think is going to happen now anyway, I think he would fit Liverpool system perfectly, and obviously Liverpool can offer him Champions League football and all that. But initially it's been mainly Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for Bruno Fernandes, because he had been on Manchester City's agenda for quite some time. But obviously reports came out last week saying that basically now Manchester City have withdrawn their interest. They've withdrawn their interest. They're no longer interested in Bruno Fernandes, and it did initially say that they'd pulled them out of the race. But basically it only said Manchester City were willing to pay up to around £47 million for his services. I think he did also say City were willing to offer a couple of their players as part of the deal. But obviously, he did blatantly make it clear, we are willing to offer quite a lot more than Manchester City. But yeah, City were in for him at one point, but they have now opted out of the race. But Bruno Fernandes had a lot of experience playing in Italy, when he was younger, the likes of San Pandora and Udinese and all that. So he's developing, really well, and I do believe he can exceed expectation levels in the Premier League. He is still under contract with Sporting Lisbon till 2023. His initial release clause is around £86 million, but Sporting Lisbon have said, they do want around 70 or 71 million, and of course Manchester United are willing to pay this. So very, very good news indeed. And that midfield area is one of the pivotal areas, of course, where Manchester United do need to strengthen up. So looking like now, Bruno Fernandes is going to be our second signing. Obviously we've already got our first signing on the board through Daniel James, which is very, very good news. Obviously our first signing this summer. Obviously our first signing under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. But obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to want to build on that, and he's going to want to bring another 4 or 5 players in, of course, because we do know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recommend young players to Manchester United this summer, and he's working on bringing players in who he thinks are going to elevate Manchester United forward, who he thinks are going to fit the culture of the club, who he thinks are going to fit the history of the club. So he's just trying to bring the right players in who he thinks can elevate Manchester United forward. He's also working on trying to keep his imperative players with the football club. But like I said, £200 million should be enough to get us around 5 players on the board. Depending on how we are with our recruitment this summer, probably 3 or 4 players I've expected to leave this summer as well. But yeah, very, very good news coming out about Bruno Fernandes. So, as I updated you yesterday, in regards to Gareth Bale from Real Madrid, I think, you'd have seen my video on that. Now, reportedly, Manchester United are inquiring about getting Gareth Bale on loan. So, basically, want to get Gareth Bale on loan. Reportedly, it says we're willing to pay his £480,000 a week wages, to get this loan deal secured, reportedly. I think initially, we are keen on getting him on a long season loan. We are keen on getting Gareth Bale on a long season loan, but I think potentially, there's an option to extend it by a further year. So potentially, it is 2 years, and obviously, Manchester United, of course, are willing to pay a loan fee. And also, if this was to process, Real Madrid, would get £50 million knocked off their wage bill in the next couple of seasons. But like I said, Real Madrid want to basically, get rid of him permanently. But I think Real Madrid are going to find it very, very difficult, to get rid of Gareth Bale permanently, based on his substantial wages and all that. He did reportedly say Real Madrid want around £75 million in, but obviously Manchester United are reluctant to pay that. Also, Tottenham are reluctant to pay that. And like I said, so basically Real Madrid are looking to recoup the majority of the money that they paid for him from Tottenham back in 2013. So basically, they said they want £75 million. Real Madrid paid £85 million from Tottenham, of course. But like I said, they wouldn't recoup, even if a team did buy Gareth Bale permanently, they wouldn't recoup the initial £85 million that they did pay for him. Maybe they could get 50 or £55 million for him. But like I said, Manchester United are not willing, to get Gareth Bale permanently, based on his fitness regime. We know he's injury prone and all that. So we're inquiring about getting him on loan, but we don't want to get Gareth Bale on a permanent deal, of course. Because like I said, with Bale, he's been inconsistent in the last couple of seasons for Real Madrid. He's still got 3 years left on his contract with Real Madrid. He has been there 6 years. Obviously, he's won about 13 major honours, including 4 Champions Leagues. But to be fair to Bale, even though he's injury prone, he's still scored 102 goals in 231 games, so his ratios are still very, very impressive. I think he's provided about 64 assists. But we do know Gareth Bale has been relentlessly, linked to a move to Manchester United since 2013, and the rumours have continued to persist since then. But you do know I've got reservations about him. He's aging up. He's 29. I think he's 30 next month. Is Gareth Bale? He's too injury prone. I think he was actually injury prone, during his Tottenham days, when he was in the Premier League. And who knows, he could come to the Premier League, and tear the Premier League apart. You just never know. But like I said, I've got concerns about him. I probably don't mind us getting Gareth Bale on loan, but obviously, I wouldn't get it. I just wouldn't want him on a permanent deal. But obviously, Zinedine Zidane has confirmed that Gareth Bale is no longer part of his plans with Real Madrid, and obviously, Zinedine Zidane has declared that Gareth Bale has no future with Real Madrid. So now Manchester United are inquiring on getting Gareth Bale on loan. Whether Real Madrid will accept this or not, I do not know. I think they probably will, just to get basically rid of him. But from Bale's perspective, I think he wants to stay with Real Madrid, and he's obviously got no intentions of leaving. Obviously, it was Bale's job last season to step up to the plate, because obviously Real Madrid lost Cristiano Ronaldo last summer. Obviously, to Juventus. Obviously, after nearly serving a decade at Real Madrid, and obviously, Real Madrid didn't get a replacement for him. So obviously, it was Bale's job there to step up to the plate, but Bale didn't do that. You can play Bale on the left, you can also play Bale on the right, and obviously, we do need a right winner. So I probably wouldn't mind us, getting him on loan, to be quite honest with you. So it says we're willing to pay a loan fee. Real Madrid, of course, will get £50 million knocked off their wage bill in the next couple of seasons. So we want to get him on a long season loan with an option to extend it for a further 12 months. So it is initially a 2-year loan, potentially, if we extend it by further 12 months, of course. So yeah, so there has been a lot of talks, going on about Paul Pogba. As I said to you, he's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation, and obviously, reports were coming out the other day saying that Real Madrid were willing to offer Gareth Bale in a transfer offer for Paul Pogba, and this could, still potentially, go through, of course. Like I said, I think it has been looking very imminent that Paul Pogba is set to leave Manchester United. I think his first choice preference is Real Madrid, because obviously, Real Madrid have been heavily linked to him. He's been on Zinedine Zidane's agenda, for quite some time. And obviously, Real Madrid have got two players now on the board so far this summer. They've obviously got Luka Jovetic from Frankfurt. They've obviously got Chelsea's Eden Hazard on the board. So now they'll be focused on getting a deal over the line for Paul Pogba. But like I said, based on the huge transfer fee we've put on Paul Pogba, there's a possibility chance now that he could remain at the football club. Obviously, we want around £150 million for him. Obviously, Real Madrid are reluctant, to pay up to the £150 million for Paul Pogba. So potentially, I think Real Madrid are orchestrating something out because they're not willing to pay up to the £150 million. This is why they said they're willing to offer Gareth Bale in a transfer offer for Paul Pogba. But we do know a lot of reports came out, last week, saying that Juventus are interested in re-signing him, and it did basically say that Juventus have made initial contact with Manchester United. It did say Juventus have also been in negotiations with his agent Raiola, and Juventus have not put in a formal bidding for him yet. But like I said, Juventus probably wouldn't be able to afford Paul Pogba outright, so Juventus would have to offload a couple of their essential players as part of the deal, to lure Paul Pogba away from Manchester United. And maybe Paul Pogba, would be open to making the return back to Turin. Don't forget he did have 4 good years in Turin. With Juventus did Paul Pogba, and he exceeded expectation levels, and he hasn't really, replicated this form, since he has come back to Manchester United. So maybe he could be open to making the return back to Juventus. But like I said, I think his first choice preference is Real Madrid, and he's been relentlessly, linked with a move away from Manchester United. Because obviously, from Paul Pogba's perspective, he wants to leave the club, and maybe the couple of main factors is why he wants to leave Manchester United, because maybe he wants to be playing amongst better players, maybe he wants to be in Champions League football, maybe he wants to be competing and all that, and all less. And he's obviously not experiencing this at Manchester United, of course. So maybe he wants to rejuvenate his career. Paul Pogba's still got a lot of years ahead of him. He's 26, he's in his prime. He's got a hell of a lot of development in him as Paul Pogba. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player he is, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is doing everything he can to try and convince him to remain at the football club. Obviously, it came out the other week saying that we're willing to offer Paul Pogba the captaincy in a bid to convince him to remain here. Obviously, Paul Pogba's got 2 years left on his contract with an option of a further year and all that. But we do know at least in the last 5-6 weeks, maybe 7-8 weeks, that Paul Pogba's agent Raiola has been working on finding him his new club, of course, and it has been looking like it's going to be Real Madrid. But like I said, Paul Pogba was talking a lot a while back, about, his dream of playing, with Real Madrid and all, and did say at some point in his career he wants to play with Real Madrid and all that. But obviously, Paul Pogba was subjected to a lot of transfer speculation, was it back in January and last year, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. Obviously, he had a really bad relationship with Jose Mourinho and Paul Pogba, and I think there were talks about him going to Barcelona back in January. I think also Juventus were in for him last year, and obviously, Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes, of course, when Jose Mourinho got sacked from the club, which is very, very good news. And, we saw glimpses of Paul Pogba's best form, and that was mainly in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first 3 months as interim manager, and we mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba when Ander Herrera was playing, so that just emphasises how much of an impact, Ander Herrera, made in our midfield, because he freed up Paul Pogba. Pogba was scoring goals, Pogba was providing, and Pogba, like I said, was in absolutely, scintillating form. But like I said, I just don't think he wants to be at Manchester United, but whether he leaves or not, I do not know. Real Madrid are now orchestrating something out, Juventus have orchestrated somehow. He did say one of the players Juventus are willing to offer us is Paulo Dybala, of course. He's been on Manchester United's agenda, for quite some time. But like I said, anyway, we cash in for Pogba and Lukaku, that's £200 million at least there for us. And obviously, it's initially £200 million spending spree we've got, but obviously it's going to be a lot more than that, for cashing for Pogba and Romelu Lukaku. And potentially, I want to give you an update as well about Wan-Bissaka from Crystal Palace, as I've been updating you on a regular basis. So we do know Wan-Bissaka is one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talents this summer because there's so many British players on our agenda. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka is one of them players. Only 21 years of age, of course. He's predominantly a right back. He's proven in the Premier League. He's only been in Crystal Palace's senior squad about 15 or 16 months, but he has become an integral part of their team. He's regarded as one of the best right backs in the Premier League now. Obviously, like I said, he made his senior debut for Crystal Palace in February of 2018. So obviously, last season, became a first team, he became a first team regular for Crystal Palace. Did Wan-Bissaka, but I really like him a lot. And obviously, we need a right back. We need a replacement for Antonio Valencia. Obviously, Valencia served a decade at Manchester United. Obviously, it remains uncertain where his next destination is going to be, but we know he's leaving. I think there's been talks about him going to the MLS. We need a replacement for Ashley Young. Well, we need an upgrade to Ashley Young, should I say. Obviously, he's been at Manchester United, 7 or 8 years now. Obviously, I think he's going to be given the captaincy for next season. And it was a bad mistake for Manchester United, giving him that new 1-year extension. Ashley Young is one of the problematic players now at Manchester United, but he's no longer got the ability to fulfill that right back position. And we need a cover-up for Diego Dalot. And like I said, I think Wan-Bissaka, would be the right solution. He has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation, but reports came out yesterday saying that Manchester United had a £40 million bid turned down for Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, Crystal Palace initially, want around £60 million for his services. Whether Manchester United would be willing to pay £60 million or not, I do not know. But I think initially the other week we'd submitted a bid of around £25 million in, but obviously, this figure's not going to be enough, to convince Crystal Palace to sell Wan-Bissaka. So far, he has spent the entirety of his career with Crystal Palace. So even if Wan-Bissaka doesn't leave Crystal Palace this summer, at some point in his career, he'll want to take his footballing career to the next level. But I do believe he's got the ability, to elevate Manchester United at least in the next 2 to 3 years. His defensive capabilities are very, very good, and he has still got 3 years left on his contract with Crystal Palace. So I do believe he's still on our agenda. But reportedly, we've just had a £14 million bid turned down for Wan-Bissaka because we've got issues defensively. But yeah, we definitely need a right back. But we do know Meunier has been on our agenda. There has been a lot of talks about him going on the other week, saying that Man United had made initial contact. Also, Arsenal had made initial contact, it said. But it did say from Thomas Meunier's perspective, he prefers the move to Manchester United, reportedly, because it has been revealed he has been a Manchester United fan, since he was a child, Thomas Meunier. But I do believe he would be the right solution for Manchester United. Highly experienced, 27 years of age. Still got a lot of development in him as Thomas Meunier, but he is now surplus to requirements at PSG. And I think he's been surplus to requirements at PSG, since Umrahmeh, left PSG. Because actually, he was more of a first team starter, was Meunier, when Umrahmeh was at PSG. And this is probably why Arsenal have inquired about his services, because maybe Umrahmeh, is keen on reuniting with a player and all that. Meunier has been at PSG 3 years. I think he's made about 101 appearances and all that. So he has done really, really well. I think PSG paid around £5 million for him from Club Brugge back in 2016. But he is predominantly a right back. He's got goals in him. He's got assists in him. He can also play in numerous other positions. So he's versatile, which is very, very beneficial. And looking at it from a financial point of view, Thomas Meunier is going to substantially cost us a lot less than Wan-Bissaka, and is a much cheaper solution than Wan-Bissaka, and obviously is a lot more experienced than Wan-Bissaka is Thomas Meunier. But I still believe that Wan-Bissaka should be our top priority, because he has been on our agenda for quite some time. So if we've got any chance of getting Wan-Bissaka, we've got to pay around 50 or 60 million pounds. So this is what Crystal Palace are currently demanding for him. But it did come out a while back saying that Wan-Bissaka is intending on spending at least another season with Crystal Palace. This is what it said a while back. But yeah, has been subject to a lot of transfer speculation. I think also Spurs have been in there for him. Also, Manchester City have been in there for him. So I want to give you some latest news about Matty Stillett, of course, as they have been updating you on a regular basis, because obviously it's looking very imminent that Matty Stillett is going to be leaving Ajax this summer. Obviously it still remains uncertain, where he will be applying his trade next season, Matty Stillett, but we do know so many teams have inquired about his services. I don't think yet Matty Stillett has made a decision on his future. He's not made a decision on his future. I think he's set to make a decision sometime this week with in regards to his future. But I think it did say last week that he was set to inform Manchester United about a decision on his future in the coming days. But like I said, so many teams have been in there for him. But I think according to recent reports, his likely destinations are Barcelona and PSG. So they are the two teams that are considered to be the favourites to get the player's signature. But we do know, at least in the last couple of months anyway, that Barcelona have been in the ascendancy of getting a deal over the line for Matty Stillett. Even though reports came out the other week, was it, saying that talks had stalled, between Matty Stillett and Barcelona. Barcelona, and that's obviously reflecting on the financial demands. Obviously, Barcelona were not willing to meet what De Ligt was demanding, what his agent Raiola and that was demanding, so they couldn't come to an agreement on the terms, even though some media outlets were speculating, saying that, Matthijs de Ligt's transfer to Barcelona is a done deal, and all that, the initial fee and that had been agreed, but obviously, they couldn't come to an agreement on the terms. So I think, Matthijs de Ligt's first choice preference is definitely, Barcelona and all that. I still believe Manchester United are in there for him, but I think, we are definitely, set to now miss out on Matthijs de Ligt, and I think the main factor reason why we're set to miss out on Matthijs de Ligt, because obviously we're not in Champions League football for next season, and I think from Matthijs de Ligt's perspective, he wants to join a club that can offer him, Champions League football. Don't get me wrong, I think if he came to Manchester United, which I don't see happening now, we'd be able to assure him first team football. If first team football would be much easier for him at Manchester United, than it would be for him at Barcelona, and obviously, he would. Matthijs de Ligt, would help us with our own rebuilding project and all that. So yeah, it would be a short first team football at Manchester United and all that. We do know Manchester City have also inquired about his services, because they're looking for a replacement for our company. Obviously, I think Liverpool are still in there for Matthijs de Ligt, but Matthijs de Ligt's agent Manu Raiola, he basically said he would like his client, to make the move to Liverpool, because maybe Raiola thinks de Ligt making the move to Liverpool, would be the right solution for him and all that. So Liverpool are still in there for him. Like I said, I think the main factor reason why Liverpool have showed an interest in him, because obviously, Liverpool have got Virgil van Dijk, and obviously, Virgil van Dijk and Matthijs de Ligt, know each other really, really well, because they're both Dutch, they're both playing the Netherlands national team and all that. So I think this is the main factor reason why Liverpool have been interested, even though Liverpool don't even need a central defender, because obviously, Virgil van Dijk's addressed their defensive deficiencies. They paid £75 million for Virgil van Dijk, and he has done really, really well for Liverpool. I think he's been there about 16 or 17 months now, of course. But they've got other central defenders, they've got the likes of, Joe Matip, they've got Joe Gomez, they've got Dejan Lovren and all that. So Liverpool don't even really need a central defender, but they are still in there, I believe, for Matthijs de Ligt. Also, Juventus have been in there for him. I think previously Bayern Munich have been in there for him, but I think recent reports did say they have opted him out of the race. So many teams have been in there for Matthijs de Ligt, but like I said, he still remains uncertain where he will be applying his trade next season. But I think Matthijs de Ligt will want to make the move to Barcelona, because obviously I think he's keen on reuniting with his teammate, because obviously Barcelona have already got a deal over the line for Frankie de Jong, who Barcelona, I think got for around £65 million. So like I said, I do believe Matthijs de Ligt's first choice preference is Barcelona. Obviously, it did say Manchester United, we're willing to offer him a contract, worth up to £350,000 a week. Obviously, this equates to almost £17 million a year and all that. And if this was the process, this would make Matthijs de Ligt, one of the highest paid players at Manchester United. Also, make him one of the highest paid teenagers in world football. But he's only 19 years of age. He is a central defender, and obviously, we need two central defenders, should I say. It's one of the pivotal areas where Manchester United need to strengthen up, because we've got issues defensively, and that was proven last season. We conceded 54 goals in the Premier League last season. Like I said, the likes of Lindelof is not good enough. The likes of Smalling are not good enough. Lindelof and Smalling have been too long serving players at the club. Smalling's been here 9 years, Jones has been here 8 years, but they are too inconsistent now. Plus, they're both aging up. Don't get me wrong, comparing Smalling and Jones, I think Smalling's a much better defender than Phil Jones. But like I said, they're too inconsistent. It was a bad mistake for Manchester United, giving them two new long-term contracts. We've obviously got Eric Bailly, but Eric Bailly's initially lost his place in the team. Obviously, I think his Manchester United career has been badly affected, with his fallout under managers. Obviously, with the injuries he has sustained, and Eric Bailly has become injury prone. So I think it would be beneficial if we did sell Eric Bailly. I don't think we will sell Eric Bailly this summer, but I think if we are willing to sell him, we are open to sell him. But I think if we are willing to sell him, I think we'll want to recoup the initial £30 million that we did pay for him from Villarreal. And don't get me wrong, he burst into the scenes really, really well when he came into the Premier League, because obviously it was Jose Mourinho's first signing when he was here. Obviously, Jose Mourinho bought 11 players and spent just under £400 million. But obviously, the first signing actually was Eric Bailly. Of course, I think he's made about 50 appearances in the Premier League for Manchester United, but he's initially lost his place in the team. And obviously, we've got the likes of Rojo. He's looking very imminent, to be fair, that Rojo is going to be leaving the club, which is very, very good news. So yeah, we need two central defenders, and don't get me wrong, I think Matthijs de Ligt, would be one of the right players, to come in. Like I said, in terms of the transfer fees, it's probably going to cost you between 70 to 75 million pounds. But I think Manchester United are set to now miss out on Matthijs de Ligt. But like I said, Matthijs de Ligt wants to take his footballing career to the next level. Obviously, so far, has spent the entirety of his career with Ajax. Obviously, being an Ajax player since the age of 9, progressing them up the ranks fantastically well, and made his senior debut just the age of 17. 17, he's now 19, and I think he got named captain at just the age of 18. But enjoyed a good season last season for Ajax, winning the domestic double, winning the Eredivisie title, also winning, progressing to the Champions League semi-final. So he enjoyed a great season last season, so he can leave Ajax, with his head held up high. He also won the Golden Boy Award last year, but I think, actually, Matty Stilic, became more of a first-team starter when Davinson Sanchez, departed Ajax for Tottenham back in 2017. So he has become an integral part of Ajax's squad, but I think we are now, set to miss out on him. As I've been updating you as well in regards to Koulibaly from Napoli and all that. Obviously, I don't think we're going to get Koulibaly either, because obviously, he's been one of our priority targets, but I just don't see Koulibaly, now coming to Manchester United, if I'm going to be quite honest with you, even though he's been relentlessly, linked to a move to Old Trafford. And obviously, the rumours have continued to persist since last summer, because obviously, the process started under Jose Mourinho about Koulibaly, because obviously, that was one of the players that Jose Mourinho did want. But obviously, I don't see us getting him now, because I think Napoli have priced him out of the transfer market. Obviously, Napoli are demanding an extortionate amount. He did reportedly say the other week that they want around £150 million for his services. Obviously, Manchester United are going to be reluctant to pay that. Also, Real Madrid are going to be reluctant to pay that. But obviously, it came out from the Italian press a couple of weeks back saying that Manchester United had a £90 million bid turned down for him. It also said Real Madrid had a £90 million bid turned down for him. But last year, we had 3 bids turned down for Koulibaly. I think, a £95 million bid was turned down for him last year, of course. And obviously, we didn't get as number one targets last summer, because obviously, under Jose Mourinho, the board weren't backing, the signings that Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend to come in. And obviously, our priority last summer was to recommend a centre-back to come in. So this is why we've got to get the right recruitment this summer, because analysing our recruitment policy, it's very, very poor indeed. But I don't see us getting Koulibaly. Recent reports have come out saying that we have put an £84 million bid in for him. Obviously, this figure's going to be nowhere near enough to convince Napoli to sanction him off. But he's done good in his 5 seasons with Napoli, and he is regarded as one of the best centre-backs in the world. And don't get me wrong, he would address our defensive deficiencies, fantastically well with Koulibaly. He would address our defensive deficiencies, 27, nearly 28 years of age. But in his 5 years with Napoli, I think he's made over 200 odd appearances in all competitions. I think he's under contract with Napoli until 2023 and all that. But yeah, he's been on our agenda, for quite a while. But I think he's going to end up, staying with Napoli, because obviously, Napoli have priced him out the transfer market, as you all know. Looking at it from a financial point of view, Napoli would make a huge profit on the player. Obviously, Napoli got him from next to no from Janker back in 2014. Napoli, paid around, was it £6 or £7 million for his services, but he is regarded as one of the best centre-backs in the world. It was initially made clear that we would have to break the world transfer record for him, but like I said, we wouldn't be willing to pay up to £150 million for his services. Obviously, other central defenders I've been giving you an update on as well is in regards to Harry Maguire. Obviously, Harry Maguire's on Manchester United's agenda. Obviously, he was one of the players that Jose Mourinho wanted last summer, but I think Leicester were demanding around £75 million for his services last summer. I think recent reports have come out saying that Leicester want around £90 million for him. So basically, Leicester have priced him out of the transfer market. Obviously, Leicester know how much of a central player that Harry Maguire is to them, but I think Manchester City have identified Harry Maguire as their number one target to actually replace Vincent Kompany. But Manchester United and Manchester City have both got the financial power to meet the £90 million valuation that Leicester are demanding for him. But I just don't think we'd be willing to pay that, because obviously I don't think Harry Maguire's worth £90 million. He's not a Virgil van Dijk, he's not a Rafael Varane from Real Madrid, he's not a Koulibaly from Napoli and all that, is he? He's not in their calibre or level. Don't get me wrong, he's still a good central defender, and he's proven in the Premier League, and he's exceeded expectation levels with Leicester in the couple of seasons he has been there. And obviously, Harry Maguire at some point in his career is going to want to take his footballing career to the next level. He's 26 years of age, he's in his prime, he has still got a lot of years ahead of him, and he's very tall, which is very beneficial. I do believe he would blend in alongside Victor Lindelof in our backline with Harry Maguire really, really well. But like I said, guys, I just don't think we would be willing to pay £90 million. So basically, Manchester United and Manchester City have got to break the world transfer record to get a deal over the line for him. And Leicester would make a huge profit on the play if they did get £90 million in, because Leicester got him for around £17 million from Hull City. But I think he signed a new long-term contract with Leicester last summer. So Harry Maguire is under contract with Leicester until 2023. So it is Manchester United and Manchester City that have been in there for him. So there's so many central defenders on our agenda. I think another problem with Manchester United, we have let far too many players' contracts run down. That has been another issue. Obviously, as you all know, De Gea is in the final year of his deal. Obviously, we have been in talks for so long of trying to get David De Gea a new contract, but obviously, we're not going to get David De Gea a new contract because it's been blatantly made clear he's not willing to sign a new contract. It came out a couple of weeks ago that he's turned down the final contract offer for Manchester United, but reportedly said De Gea wants around £350,000 a week. Obviously, Manchester United are not willing to meet his wage demands, and this is why we haven't come to an agreement to get him a new contract. But I think his likely destination is going to be PSG, if I'm going to be quite honest. PSG are in there for him. Obviously, now PSG will step their interest up in David De Gea because Buffon is set to leave PSG. I think also Real Madrid have been long admirers of him. Obviously, Real Madrid were on the brink of getting De Gea back in 2015, but due to a fax machine, the deal never materialised. And obviously, I think Juventus have also been in there for David De Gea, but I do believe PSG is his likely destination. I think reports came out saying that PSG are willing to pay around £60 million for De Gea, but obviously we want to cash in for De Gea this summer rather than letting go on a free transfer next year, because if we let him go on a free transfer next year, that would be a calamity indeed if we let him go on a free transfer next year. I know at full value, for the goalkeeper, David De Gea is definitely worth £100 million without a shadow of a doubt, but I know we're not going to get £100 million for him because he is in the final year of his contract. But I've admired his fantastic career, with Manchester United. He's been a great servant to the club. He has been here 8 years, so he has been here since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, has made over 300 odd appearances in all competitions. Obviously, he's won the club's player of the year 4 times in the last 6 years, and of course has won everything either domestically as David De Gea. So I wanted us to come to an agreement to get him a new contract, but I don't see it happening now, to be quite honest. And David De Gea hasn't really done much on his 8-year period here. I know he was making quite a few costly mistakes towards the back end of last season, but that was mainly to do with the contractual situation. And I think we need to buy a goalkeeper, to replace David De Gea. I don't think it's in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans. I think he's willing to promote Sergio Romero as our number one goalkeeper. I've got reservations about this guy. I don't know yet if Sergio Romero is reliable enough, to become our number one goalkeeper. But like I said, he did well in the FA Cup games last season. I know we've got Dean Henderson, but like I said, with Dean Henderson, he's too inexperienced at the moment, and we need Dean Henderson. Needs to go gain a bit more experience and all that. I know he's been on loan with Sheffield United, but I think we should orchestrate, loaning Dean Henderson out for another season. So yeah, we need to buy a goalkeeper to replace David De Gea. And Solskjaer knows how imperative David De Gea is and all that, but obviously we can't come to an agreement to get him a new contract. Obviously, there has been good news coming out in regards to Juan Mata, quite lately. We do know he's got about, just under 3 weeks left on his existing deal with Manchester United. He reportedly said that Manchester United have offered Juan Mata a new contract. It remains uncertain whether Juan Mata is willing to accept this contract offer or not. Obviously, as you all know, we've got a release list of around 14 players. Obviously, Valencia is included on that release list. Obviously, Ander Herrera is included on that release list. But obviously, Juan Mata is not included on that release list because I think Manchester United are keen on trying to get Juan Mata a new contract and all that. Obviously, he's been a great servant to the club. He has been here 5 years as Juan Mata. Obviously, he's made about 218 appearances in all competitions, scored about 45 goals for us, so he's been very, very good for us, being very consistent and all that. Can play in the number 10, can also play on the right, but Juan Mata initially now doesn't even get in the squad, so basically he's now a squad player. I don't think Man United would be willing to offer him a long-term contract and all that, because obviously, looking at his age, he's 31 years of age, his age, he has lost that yard of pace and all that. But yeah, like I said, Newcastle have reportedly been interested in him. Also, Barcelona have been in talks of getting Juan Mata on a free transfer, but if Juan Mata does leave the club, I think for his first choice preference, would be making the return back to Spain, because obviously he grew up in Spain and all that, and obviously, he began his career in Spain, with the likes of, Real Madrid and Valencia and all that. I don't know if he'd be interested in making the move to Newcastle. I know he's played under Rafa Benitez before, during his couple of years or so he had with Chelsea, so maybe Rafa Benitez is keen on reuniting with the player. But yeah, Juan Mata has been a fantastic servant in the Premier League. I think he's been in the Premier League in total about 7 or 8 years or something. But yeah, he's been at Manchester United, since the David Moyes era. And we do know that Marcus Rashford is in the final year of his deal, as you all know. I don't think Manchester United are orchestrating on selling Marcus Rashford. We're not orchestrating on selling Marcus Rashford. He is in the final year of his deal, like I said. We have been in talks of getting him a new contract, so hopefully somewhere along the line we can come to an agreement to get Marcus Rashford a new contract. I still believe he's a long-term solution for Manchester United, even though he has been inconsistent in the last couple of months. But to be quite fair, last season he did sustain quite a few injuries that had a bad effect on his game. But I think, Marcus Rashford has not, got to that level yet where he wants to be. And I think it's going to take him a couple of years, to emulate to that given level. But he's only 21 years of age, and he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. He can play Rashford centrally. He can also play him out wide, but he's obviously more effective, centrally. Is Marcus Rashford. That's where you see the best of him. Like I said, reports were coming out saying that Barcelona are interested in Marcus Rashford, because I think they would intend on partnering Marcus Rashford with on Messi in their squad. Obviously, they'd see Marcus Rashford as a long-term replacement for Luis Suarez, because Luis Suarez turned 32 in January. But I think Barcelona are seeing Marcus Rashford as an alternative to Griezmann or Neymar. So it basically said if Barcelona can't sign Griezmann or Neymar, they will look on signing Marcus Rashford. And I think Real Madrid have also been in for Rashford in the past, but I just don't think we've got any intention of selling him. He's born and bred in Manchester. He's been a Manchester United player since the age of 7, the age of 8. Progressing up the ranks fantastically well, and he has been in the senior squad with us since 2016. So I don't think we're intending on selling Marcus Rashford. Obviously, as well as I've been updating you on a regular basis about Yuri Tielemans from Leicester. I like Yuri Tielemans a lot. I think he's a potential Manchester United target if Paul Pogba does leave the football club. I think Tottenham have also been in there for Yuri Tielemans. They've inquired about his services. I think also Arsenal have been in there for him. Also, it came out the other week saying that Manchester City were in there for Yuri Tielemans. But Yuri Tielemans has had about 5 or 6 months of experience under his belt in the Premier League. Yuri Tielemans was pivotal in Leicester's transformation under Brendan Rodgers. Now, obviously, Leicester are keen on getting him on a permanent deal. I think Leicester have been in talks with Monaco about this, but I think from Yuri Tielemans' perspective, he is expected to make the return back to Monaco, of course. Obviously, Yuri Tielemans joined Monaco in 2017. I think Monaco paid around £21 million for his services. I think they got him from Anderlecht. So that's where initially, Yuri Tielemans began his career at Anderlecht. I think he's primarily a central midfielder. I think he's only 22 years of age, so he has still got a hell of a lot of development in him. So Manchester United have been in there for Yuri Tielemans, and he's available for a reasonable figure. I think Monaco, rate him at around £40 million. So there has been a lot of talks about, Yuri Tielemans going on. Like I did basically say, as well as I've been updating you on a regular basis about, Joe Felix from Benfica. Obviously, Manchester United and Manchester City are battling out for his services. I think Benfica have come out and admitted that he could be leaving the club this summer. It remains uncertain where he will be applying his trade the next season, but we know mainly it has been Man United and Man City that have been battling out for him. More than likely, Manchester United or Manchester City, will have to trigger his buyout clause, because obviously, his buyout clause is around £105 million and all that. But yeah, I do believe he can exceed, if he comes to the Premier League, he'll exceed expectation levels. Only 19 years of age. Obviously, last season was only his first season in the senior squad with Benfica, and obviously he's yet to make his senior debut of Portugal. But I really like Joe Felix a lot. He can primarily play as an attacking midfielder. Well, he's primarily an attacking midfielder, should I say? Let me rephrase my words. He can also play him as a winner. He can also play as a striker and a secondary striker. So very, very versatile. Indeed, he's Bruno. Joe Felix. I was going to say Bruno Fernandes, then sorry about that. But I really, really like him indeed. And I hope Manchester United can get a deal over the line for him. And I think, he's been relentless, linked to a move away from Benfica since January. And, the rumours have continued to persist since then. I think Manchester United have been scouting, Joe Felix, since the January transfer window. Obviously, as well as I've been updating you on a regular basis about James Maddison from Leicester. Now, obviously, about James Maddison, I think he wants to remain loyal to Leicester, and I don't think he's got any intentions of leaving Leicester. Well, maybe at some point in his future he'll want to, leave Leicester and take his footballing career to the next level. But according to recent reports, he wants to remain loyal with Leicester. Even though it did say last week that Manchester United, would in for him and all that. It said we made initial contact with James Maddison and his representatives over the potential move to Old Trafford. It did say we emerged as a priority target. Obviously, obviously we were seeing him as a replacement for Paul Pogba, and he did say Leicester wanted around £60 million for his services. And I like James Maddison a lot. He's had experience. He's had 1 year of experience under his belt in the Premier League. He was fantastic in his debut season in the Premier League last season. Was involved in 14 goals. Created more chances there than anybody in that. So yeah, I really, really do like him. Manchester United have not put any kind of formal bidding for him. Like I said to you, Leicester wanted around £60 million. I think Manchester United, would be happy, more than happy to pay £60 million for his services. I think Tottenham have also been in there for him, City and Liverpool. I think they've been tracking him, since he was a teenager at Coventry, because he progressed up the ranks with Coventry. He grew up in that in Coventry. Did James Maddison. But Leicester got him for £20 million from Norwich last summer. Obviously, he signed a 5-year deal with Leicester, so he's under contract with them until 2023. But he has reportedly been on Manchester United agenda. But I like him a lot. He's British as well. He's only 22 years of age, and he's proven in the Premier League. So I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer obviously he's keen on bringing him in. I do believe we need a centre defensive midfielder as well. That's another one of the areas where we need to strengthen up. Because obviously Fellaini left back in January. Like I said, McTominay is too inexperienced at the moment. He's getting a bit more experience, and Matic is too inconsistent. Matic is too slow. He's way too slow, he's Nemanja Matic. He's too ineffective in that midfield, and plus he's aging up. So, I've got strong reservations about him. But there has been quite a few different centre defensive midfielders on our agenda. We do know Declan Rice is one of them. I like Declan Rice a lot. Initially, learned his trade in the Premier League, Premier League proven. And I think he's become an integral part of West Ham's squad. And, he's exceeded expectation levels of West Ham really, really well. Manchester United have been in there for him, quite a few times. Declan Rice, he's only 20 years of age, plus he's British. And I really, really like him. Indeed, he can play as a centre back, but I think he's primarily a centre defensive midfielder. He's Declan Rice. He's got a contract with West Ham until 2024, till 2024. I think he signed this new long-term contract back in December of last year. So he's obviously been on Manchester United's agenda. I think reportedly rated at around £50 million or something like that. But I think at some point in Declan Rice's career, he's going to want to take his footballing career to the next level. Of course, so Manchester United have been in for him. Obviously, going back, was it last week or a couple of weeks back, there was a lot of talks about Thomas Partey from Atletico Madrid going on, saying that Man United and Arsenal inquired about his service, and it did basically say that Thomas Partey, wants to leave. Thomas Partey, wants to move to the Premier League and all that, and this was actually, stemming from his dad. His dad said that Thomas Partey, wanted to make the move to England, so it has also been Manchester United and Arsenal that have been in for him, and obviously, he's a central defensive midfielder, so I do believe we definitely, need one. We need a replacement for Ander Herrera. If Pogba goes, we're going to need a replacement for him. But yeah, probably 3 or 4 players are expected to leave this summer. Like I said, we need a director of football to come in before the start of next season. That's a structural change that we do need at the club. Obviously, we've definitely got to get a director of football. It would be. There's been quite a few candidate names mentioned, but it would be ideal to recommend someone who knows about the club. Someone, of course, has got the experience. So we've got to definitely get a director of football in. Like I said though, even if I think our aspirations in the next couple of seasons is going to be the top 4. We have been playing catch up for the last 5 or 6 years because we have been mismanaged in the last 5 or 6 years. So this is why it's pivotal. We get our number 1 targets this summer, so it can get us back to where we currently want to be. But at the moment, City is strides ahead of us. Liverpool has strides ahead of us, and it's very imperative that we catch up with the likes of them. Indeed, and I know a lot of money's been invested at the club. A hell of a lot of money's been spent at Manchester United. Since Alex Ferguson retired. We've had different managers with different philosophies. I think £700 million has been invested, something like that. Anywhere we've seen players come in, we have seen players go, but the majority of the money has actually been spent on the wrong players, with the wrong mentality and all that. So obviously, it hasn't worked out. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider a subscriber, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.